Hey guys, welcome back to Dude We Can Fix It. Today we're going to be replacing a trailer hub. This is what happened. I had my tire on here and it was just flopping around and stuff. So that's pretty badly broken. It's not supposed to have any wobble to it at all. So what I did was I secured this axle with a ratchet strap, and that allowed me to ride home on the remaining 3 tires. So what we're going to start by doing is removing this large castle nut, and we're going to remove the cotter pin and the castle nut so we can take this hub off and inspect the spindle and the hub. First thing, we got to find our cotter pin. Actually very interesting. I don't see a cotter pin in there. Well, I'll just skip to the channel locks then. We got the castle nut off. Take this guy off. And this should be part of the outside bearing retainer. Now, I'm able to take the entire hub off. It's like the race is still in here. Get this up a little bit. Honestly, it doesn't look too terribly destroyed. This surface is still smooth, and this surface is still smooth. That is what the bearings ride on. Now let's clean up, this is the spindle here. Let's clean up the spindle and see what it looks like. Looks like this race is sort of welded itself to the spindle. Nope, it's still kind of loose. I'm gonna try to get this off of here. This is the outside race. It's in really bad shape. Now let's try to remove the inside race. So last night we cleaned up the spindle on this trailer, and I went and got a hub in hopes that I could just replace the hub and the bearings. But after talking to the guy at the trailer depot, that's not a good idea. So I'll show you why. This is the surface that the inside of the bearing rides on, and it's very rough. That's the inside bearing. This is the surface that the outside bearing rides on. It's also very rough. This is the surface that the oil seal rides on. It's not smooth either. And then underneath, there's a huge gouge here that I can feel, and some gouging here as well. So, unless this was completely remachined or cut off back here and replaced, this is not a serviceable component. It needs to be replaced or repaired, and the cheapest, quickest option is actually to replace the entire axle. You can get these for about 150 bucks, and it comes with a new hub, new bearings, already pre-packed and preloaded on both sides. So just the hub by itself was going to be in the range of 40 to 50 bucks. So for about $100 more, you replace both spindles and both hubs. And it's not a bad repair to do. I have went ahead and soaked these U-bolts with some penetrating oil. And now we're going to lift up, we're going to drive this trailer forward onto these automotive ramps so that we can have more ground clearance to remove that rear axle. And Joe's gonna help us today. Now we can remove the axle. So we're going to start by removing the nuts on these 2 U-bolts so that we can remove the axle. All right, so we have this bolt right here, and there's a hole on the bottom side of this plate right here. And now that is supposed to sit on here, just like that. That's how you know you have this aligned correctly. Now that that is in place, the center hole here goes on the nut and bolt at the bottom of the leaf spring. It sits in there like that. There we go. Alright, now you can see that this bolt here is in this hole. Everything's tightened up hand tight, and the bottom of this leaf mount, or this leaf spring mount, is flush with the leaf spring. Now we're going to go get the other side set up hand tight. And we can go ahead and start placing this plate on here. Impact. So when our last hub grenaded on us, it spat a whole bunch of grease on the inside of our rim. So we're gonna clean that up with some paper towels. Alright, so even though this is a brand new pre-grease axle, it's always recommended to put a few extra pumps of grease in it, and this will also be a good time to pump up our other axles. So first we're going to remove this little rubber stopper at the end of this hub. Now connect your grease gun to the Zerk fitting in the center and start pumping until you see some grease coming out around the sides. At this point, you can see the grease. It has plenty of grease in the bearing, so we can go ahead and replace the rubber cap. Now we will re-grease or grease the other side.
Yeah.
See the grease coming out?
See it coming around there.
All right, that's got plenty of grease in there. We will replace the rubber seal on the outside. Now, while we're at it, we're going to go ahead and grease up the axle that's still on the trailer. You don't want to fill this cavity all the way up because that grease will expand as this heats up. All right, that axle is now completely greased on both sides. Stopper back on the end of here, and now we're ready to get back to work. Trailer's fixed. Our hub repair is complete, which turned out to be an entire axle replacement. But it's all right, we'll do a hub repair video in the future. Thanks for watching.